I'm back. It's Friday. It's been a crazy week. The weather's driving us all nuts. But today, I'm here to tell a funny story. Just to cheer everybody up. When I was 16 years old, I was not at that time in my life as organized, neurotic, and just nutso OCD as I am right now in my 50s. I was, to be quite honest with you, I was somewhat reckless. As a young kid, I had been working out since the age of 9, so I had a few years of hard weight training in the basement. I put on a little bit of muscle. I don't know. We all think we're invincible when we're younger. But here goes the story. Now, my father was very fortunate to buy a really nice car. I mean, back then, it was a really nice car in really good condition. It was from a former Mary Kay saleswoman. He got a sweet deal on it. It was a Ford LTD. It was a 75 Ford LTD. The car was mint. It was pretty hot. I mean, back then. Now I wouldn't think the same, but anyway, where I lived back then, my father owned the property we were on, had a long dirt driveway. It was probably about 100 and so yards to the top. Dirt driveway comes down to the house. He would let me take this car and drive it to the top of the driveway and drive back down. And, to a 16-year-old kid, that's fun. I mean, considering I was always working out on a 10-speed bike. I was always running. I was always physically active. But, I was going to get my license in the following year. And he thought, well, hey, why not? Let's let the kid practice in the car. And it'll be cool, So I would do that from time to time, and it was great. I was very careful. Didn't do anything stupid. But one day, and please don't think less of me, but when I was with my buddies all day long drinking beers, I came home one summer day and I said, with a really good buzz, I said, Dad, can I take the car to the top of the driveway and practice my driving? Well, my father's Canadian, and he's still, after being in this country for 50, 60 years, he still has his accent. He would be like, oh, Jitty, just be careful. Don't do anything stupid. So I take the car, get the keys. I go up and down the driveway a couple times. And on like the third time, I got to the top of the street. And it was the main street in Methuen, Forest Street. If anyone on here knows Methuen, that's where the big blue water tower is across the street. We live down in the woods. So when I got to the top, I looked left, I looked right, and I said, fuck it, I'm going for it. I stomped on the gas. I got going like 90 miles an hour going down Forest Street like an idiot. I'm getting down there 90 around a sharp corner, and incoming comes this car straight for me. I panic, I slam on the brakes, and I skid about 500 feet, boom, right into a telephone pole. Cracked the pole, crushed in the whole front of the car, and I was freaking out. I remember to this day, Rush 2112 was on the radio. That's how I got this scar on my chin from the steering wheel, hitting steering wheel. So I panicked. I put that thing in reverse and almost wouldn't go into reverse. And I backed it up, put it in drive, and I proceeded to drive down the street with radiator fluid leaking, brake fluid, everything's going all over the place. The wheels rubbing against the frame. And I get going about a mile and a half. I drive by my friend Dan's house. They're all playing basketball, waving, like, what the fuck's going on? And I get to about a mile and a half, and I say, fuck this. I put the keys in the car, I shut the door, and I ran away for 3 days. I stayed with my friend Neil, and all we did was party for 3 days. I did not go home. I was scared shit. So at some point, I had to come home. So I'm like, oh man, all right, I gotta go home now. So I finally come home, and I'm hiding in the Country Squire station wagon until my father goes to work. And I go in the house, and he came home, he came back, and I had to confront my father. Now, a funny part of the story is when the tow truck came back with the smashed up car, my friends saw the tow truck going up the street, and they ran to my house to find out what the hell's going on. And one of my friends says to my father, says, Mr. Blaze, what are you going to do? Oh my God, Jerry smashed up your car. It was an awesome car. What are you going to do? My father looked at him with his little French Canadian accent and said, ah, Jitty. I wait for Jitty with a 2x4. So, I ended up going home. I ended up having this long, very uncomfortable talk with my father. And my father didn't beat the shit out of me because he's not that kind of a guy. He was pissed. But he says, Jitty, you're going to work with me all summer long. I'm not going to pay you a dime. I want you to work with me all day long, every single day. And every day I want you to come home. And he had gotten a frame of the same car because he was going to rebuild it. Those Canadians are crazy. So every day after I was exhausted, working all day out in the hot sun, not really eating, no water, I'd have to sand down this frame, eventually sandpaper it. Long story short, I did that all summer long. Didn't get paid a dime. And at the end of the summer, we had to go to the court because I smashed up the telephone pole, and my father had to go with me to small claims court. He spoke in my behalf and pleaded to the judge, please, sir, be lenient on Jerry. He worked all summer with me for no money. He was redeemed himself. Please be good to him. So the judge let me get away with it. And we had to pay the telephone pole through my father's insurance. And that year, I went, it was my last year of school. I went all year long. And at the very end of the summer, after I graduated, my father gave me the car. He had put it all back together. He had fixed it. It wasn't 100%, but he fixed it. And lessons learned. I learned a valuable lesson in work ethic and learning my lesson and so on with my father. So that's the kind of guy my father is. I am blessed to have such an amazing dad. I should have put this video up for Father's Day, but there you go. I was not so responsible a man back in my younger days. I did some stupid ass shit, but that's what kids do. So I'm grateful for him, and that's that. All right. Hope you all have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Don't be smashing up your father's car. And I will see you very soon. Get to the gym now.